Hey everyone, it's Pastor Robert Storm of Inception Church, a weekly online message center. Today I want to talk to you briefly about a man named Jephthah. Jephthah was a son of a prostitute, and he was kicked out of his tribe of Gilead when he was a young man. And he was actually one of the illegitimate sons of Gilead. And So his brothers kicked him out, his half-brothers who were legitimate. They kicked him out of the house and said, "We never want to see you again." And during this time, the tribes were growing and becoming more and more prominent. And after several years, they found themselves at war with the Ammonites, which were giants in the land and general troublemakers for the Israelites, specifically at this time the tribe of the sons of Gilead, those people. So what they did was they recognized the strength and the courage and the leadership of the guy who had been out on the rough a bit, their stepbrother that they had kicked out. They had kicked him out of the house and had him live, out in the wilderness and so on. And the children of Ammon are fighting the children of Israel, specifically those from Gilead. And so the elders of Gilead, they send to fetch Jephthah, the Bible says, out of the land of Tob, where he was at. And they said, "Come and be our captain so that we can fight with the children of Ammon." And I'm pulling this from Judges chapter 11, by the way. And Jephthah says, "If you bring me home again to fight against the children of Ammon, and the Lord deliver them before me, will I be your leader? Will I be your head?" And this isn't exactly what they wanted, but they recognized their dire situation, and they said, "The Lord be witness between us if we do not so according to thy words." Basically promising that he would be their permanent leader and figurehead if he won the battle against the Ammonites for them. Jephthah became one of the judges of Israel, and his stories are recorded throughout the scriptures. Judges were people who ruled Israel to one form or another before the time of the kings, before Saul and David and Solomon. And so they were important figureheads within the growing nation of Israel. And I think it's interesting that here's a man who was kicked out of the very people that later wanted him back, and they wanted him to some extent to lead them from then on if he would deliver them. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have felt kicked to the curb and kind of mistreated by a lot of people within churches. You felt the sting of some jealousy, some envy, some rage, some harsh words, some things that shouldn't have been spoken. And these people even maybe did it in the name of Christ, believing that they were, doing God's will, but it stung you, and you felt the problem. You ended up being tossed to the side, and forgotten about or neglected. There are some people that I know of that have been called a devil child, a demon boy, referred to as of the devil, as a little antichrist. And some of these are joking, but they're still mean. And some of them are legitimate. People have actually claimed that children of God are children of the devil, or and sometimes you can even hear things in your head if Satan and his demons are pushing against you. The Bible says he's the accuser of the brethren. So what he likes to do is he likes to get in your head and tell you that you don't work for God, that you actually work for him. And it can come across like you get despair, you get, feeling dejected, like God is down on you, like he's disappointed in you. There's a lot of ways that can come across. But I really want to focus on when people, specifically in church, have kicked aside some unruly children, or, like there were some people in my old church, and there's a lot of good people out there in churches. I know that. But there were some people that took religion a little too importantly, and they would notice someone wearing a sweatshirt and a pair of jeans and tennis shoes to church, and maybe listening to some rock music, or kind of off with their girlfriend, kissing, hugging, etc. And they would say the worst things about how those people weren't right with God, which was not their business. They are not God, and they're not that person, and they don't know that person's heart towards God. And I suspect that a certain amount of that individual's relationship with God did deteriorate as a result of being told by supposed people of God that they had a bad relationship with God. After a while, people's words can really grate on you. The Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. So it's important to be aware of the words you say and the inspiration and encouragement you give to one another. But in this case, the story of Jephthah, he's kicked to the curb. And finally, these people who kicked him out realize they need him. They need someone who's seen the ugly side of life, seen the rough patches. And so they call him back and they say, "We will let you be our leader." I want to encourage those of you who are watching this that maybe you've had experiences like that where different church members have criticized you, or said they were disappointed in you for X, Y, and Z, and that God was disappointed in you, and you felt that grate on your spirit that maybe you just weren't good enough. But I guarantee you that if you stay in faith, if you stay trusting in yourself and in God, if you stay pursuing the right path, maybe you'll go through some really rocky territory and it looks like they have smooth sailing. But in the end, you'll wind up on top because they'll need you. They will need someone with your experience, with your expertise, and maybe not even them, but someone else. Someone needs you. And so I encourage you with the story of Jephthah, and you can read it for yourself in Judges 11. Don't let people's criticism of you and rejection of you lead you to despise your own existence or the way that God has made you. Just trust that in due time, in due season, as the Bible says, all things will come full circle, all things will come to fruition, and you will lead those who really need you. I hope this has been an inspiration to someone out there, and I hope you have a fucking awesome day. And I will see you next time.